Our subconscious money beliefs form our money blueprint. What's it called?
Money blueprint.
And that stems from 3 different things. So, you should be on page 15. What page?
15.
There are 3 different ways that you can develop a money blueprint. How many ways, please?
3.
How many ways?
3.
Thank you. The first one has to do with what you heard. What is it?
What you heard.
What you heard growing up about money. Did your parents discuss it as something that brings joy, that brings fun, that brings freedom, that helps a lot of people? Or did you hear your parents arguing about money? Did you hear a lot of negativity about money? What was it that you personally heard as you grew up about money? Are you with me so far?
Yes.
The second one, of course, is what you saw. What is it?
What you saw.
What is it?
What you saw.
Thank you. What did you see your parents and other authority figures doing regarding money? Did you see them sitting around the table going, I hate money, I hate money, I hate money? Did you see them investing in money? Did you see them using money wisely? Did you see them using money to help other people? What did you personally see your parents and other authority figures doing with money? Are you with me so far?
Yes.
And of course, what you experienced about money. What is it?
What you experienced.
What is it?
What you experienced.
What you experience about money. Now, a lot of people have different experiences when it comes to money, especially what they experienced when they were younger. True or true?
True.
I know of a young woman that went to a seminar very much like this one. She was a nurse and made pretty decent money as a nurse, and she couldn't figure out why, with all the money she was making, there was always more month at the end of the paycheck. Does that make sense? How many of you have ever experienced that before? Say yes.
Yes.
And she kept going, I don't get it, like I make really good money, like how come I'm so frivolous, how come I get rid of it all the time? Why is my blueprint set the way that it is? Well, thankfully the person doing the training did a process which helped her to remember an experience she had when she was 8 years old. She said her parents only thought about one thing, and that one thing was
money.
She said one day they were at a very nice Chinese restaurant having dinner. The bill came, and her parents began to have a very heated argument about how much money they were spending just on that one meal. She said her dad, finally as frustrated as she's ever seen him, got up to storm out of the restaurant. And as soon as he stood up, he collapsed, having a heart attack. Well, even though she was only 8 years old, she was on her swim team. And so she knew CPR, and she jumped down, and she began administering CPR to her dad, who after only a few minutes died in her arms. A person who's experienced major pain like that, what types of beliefs and feelings do you think they would have about money?
Money will kill you.
That money will kill you, or that it brings death, or loss, or pain, or any of the other things. True or true?
Sure.
Is this making sense to everyone?
Yes.
Every person has a very real and either a very positive or a very negative relationship. What's the word?
Relationship.
Money is first and foremost a relationship. And if your relationship with money is not put in order, you are going to struggle to one degree or another to generate more and more money. Does this make sense? Is this hitting home for anyone? Everyone reach over, wrap your arm around the person next to you, and bring them in close. and say, we gotta form a better relationship so that we can make some more money. Now, who's willing to get a little hokey for a second? Excellent. Open your books just to a blank page. And in just a moment, oh, first of all, how many of you have some sort of money on you? A dollar bill, a $100 bill. If you have it, pull it out and just hold it in your hand. No. In just a moment, you're going to take 7 minutes. How long, please?
7 minutes.
Thank you. And during those 7 minutes, you are going to write a letter to whoever is on that dollar bill or that coin. For example, if you have a $1 bill, you're going to write a letter to who?
George Washington.
To George Washington. If you have a $100 bill, you're going to write to? Ben Franklin. If you have a $50 bill, who are you going to write to? Grant. Pop quiz for you. And the reason why is your relationship with money affects how much of it you receive. Now I can already hear some people's minds turning, going, good heavens, is this stupid? I would guess you have very little money in your bank account right now. Because those that think forming a relationship with money is stupid generally doesn't have much. Does this make sense?
Yes.
And so, in just a moment, you're going to have a number of minutes to write a letter to whoever it is. If you don't have any on you, just either pick George Washington, because he's the leader of the group, or Ben Franklin, because he's the largest of the group. And you're going to start by saying, Dear George, or Dear Ben, we need to talk. And you're going to say things like, how come you don't come and play more often? I would love for you and all of your friends to come and play. What's it going to take? Whatever it is that you feel you want to express to that person on that money. And then sign, love, whatever your name is. Take a quick 10-second breather, and then write a response. Dear, whatever your name is. And then just write whatever comes to your mind. You may be shocked at what type of insight comes to you. Are you willing?
Yes.
Anybody not? Let's find out what's going on. Cool?
Cool.
Excellent. So one more time. First thing, write to the person, not the dollar bill, but the person on it. And then write a response back. Begin now. How many of you received some interesting responses back? Who'd be willing to share? Excellent. Mic runners? Let's go ahead and keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Let's go here. Go ahead and stand up. Tell us your name, where you're from.
I'm Janelle Parker from Syracuse.
Like, woohoo!
The response is what I'm reading from?
You choose.
Okay. I'll read the response. And this is from Ben Franklin. Dear Janelle Parker, I'm here, I'm everywhere. I'm in your friends, I'm in your family, in your neighbors, I'm in your mind. I'd love to get to know you and use your knowledge and creativity with you and enjoy all that life has to offer, from celebration to work to charity. Remember, either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. Your dearest money friend, Ben, a.k.a. Frankie.
And so, hold on, keep the microphone.
Got it.
So, what did that realization do for you?
It just really put him as a friend to me. The realization that it's everywhere. It's for me to find. I have it within me. In the creation, I can do anything and create it.
Yeah. So what are you going to do differently from now on?
I'm looking at more ways to create it.
Awesome. Who can relate? Excellent. Big woohoo! Excellent. Who else would be willing to share? Go ahead and stand up. Tell us your name, where you're from.
My name's Alex, and local Salt Lake City.
Big woohoo!
So I wrote to President Lincoln, and this is his response. Dear Alex, I am so honored and proud that you and many others like yourself are working hard to change the world. And that is where I would like to start, hard work. In order to make big changes, you have to take big action. Be fearless. Doubts will come, and that's okay. We all have the ability to overcome those fears. As towards spending more time with us, step presidents, all you have to do is invite us. We may not come right away, or we may not come in a way that you predicted, but I assure you that if you invite us into your world with love, generosity, respect, and compassion, we will show up. I know Franklin particularly likes curiosity and experimentation. I particularly like freedom and liberation. Surround yourself with these, and others like us will come along. Sincerely, Abe.
Excellent. What did that do for you?
I think it just reinforced that curiosity, creativity, generosity, compassion are fundamental into creating the life that I really want to live. And so having somebody as, it was coincidental, I really look up to Abe Lincoln. And I think he's one of the best presidents. And so to have this experience of him telling me, reinforcing what I already believe is huge.
Awesome. And what are you going to do differently from now on?
I'm going to, if I have inspiration, I need to leap on it. I need to run with it right away.
Yeah, great job. We can relate. Excellent. Go ahead. Let's get one more. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Go ahead.
Mars Vansweiler from West Point, Utah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I got two different people answering me. I started out with Lincoln. Here it goes. Dear Marcy, you're on the right path. Ask and you shall receive. Your loved ones are aware of you and willing to help you. They can't if you don't ask for it. The time will come when you will have more than enough and use it for good. For now, be thankful and grow your testimony more. The relationships you have are worth more and will bring you more resources and financial fruits. If you nurture them first, God being first. Drawing near to me, and I will draw near unto you. Here's where it switches. Seek me diligently, and ye shall find me. Seek first the kingdom of God, and be not moved. Ye shall have your just rewards. Fear not, my child, neither be afraid. For I, the Lord God, know thee, even from the womb. You are a stalwart daughter, with much to do, and give. And I will always make a way possible. God.
Awesome. What did that do for you?
I need to strengthen my relationship with God more.
And what specifically are you going to do differently?
Pray and read a little bit more than I need to, and then
a little bit more, like you read one more word and then
no.
A little bit more?
I know that I need to be better. It's not a daily thing that I am as strong with my relationship with my deity than I should be. And I've had people come to my mind that I need to talk to regarding my current financial needs that need to happen immediately, and I need to just stop being proud or prideful and think, I can't ask that person anything like that, and I need to just do it. If that's an inspiration, I need to follow it.
Okay, so by when will you speak to all those people?
Tonight.
By tonight? Excellent. Who will support her?
Yeah.
Excellent. Big woohoo! Great job. Give yourselves a good round of applause. As I mentioned, money is first and foremost a relationship. And if certain relationships aren't put in order, money isn't going to flow our way. True or true? True. Has anyone ever tried to swim upstream in a fast river before? Some of you have? Good. So, does it work very well? No, it's because if you're going against the current, that's just not how it's supposed to be. And unfortunately, most people go about it the wrong way as well. I want you to imagine that this is you, and over here, there is money and resources. What is it? Money and resources. Unfortunately, a lot of people try to go directly after the money and resources without putting together, without cleaning up a number of relationships first. Are you with me so far? Yes. When I first started my business, I realized that one of the biggest reasons why we weren't making as much money as we wanted to was because I had a very serious issue with my relationship with my father. Now, as much as I love him, unfortunately, he's the epitome of everything I don't want in life. Again, I love him, but he's the type of person that, regardless of how wrong he is, he has to be right. Does that make sense? Anybody know people like that? And unfortunately, we've had a strained relationship for a number of years. I'll never forget the last day that I was at my job. I waited tables for a number of years. Anybody work in a restaurant before? How many of you would agree that it's not exactly something you want to do the rest of your life? True? Well, I was so ready to be done. I had certified in best. I was ready to take it to the next level. I was ready to become a full-time best practitioner, set up a practice, and begin creating the money that I knew that I was worth. And the very first thing that came to my mind, as soon as I clocked out on my very last day waiting tables, was drive to California, meet with your dad, and get your relationship cleaned up. And I remember thinking, but I don't want to.
No.
But the impression kept coming back over and over and over again. Drive to California, meet with your dad, get things cleaned up. And so I finally called him. I said, Dad, I'm going to be in California on such and such a days. Would it be possible to take you out to lunch? He said, okay, this is unexpected, but sure. I drove down there, we went to lunch, and we spent hours and hours and hours talking. But we finally were able to come to a resolution and an understanding of each other. And I drove back, and within 2 weeks, I had a practice established. Now, fast forward a number of years, our business had started to take off, and we were actually doing quite well. And I had set a goal for myself years before that for one of our anniversaries, I wanted to recreate our honeymoon, only do it in a much more lavish way, because we got married on December 20th, which of course is right before Christmas. And so we had to have kind of a quick honeymoon. It was still a lot of fun. We were in Southern California. We got married in San Diego, where I always wanted to get married and where I actually was born. And we went to amusement park hopping. Anybody else like amusement parks? Well, Southern California is one of the best places for amusement parks. Yes or yes?
Yes.
And so we went to a couple of amusement parks, and then we woke up on Christmas morning at the Disneyland Hotel, and I checked out of the Disneyland Hotel wearing my loose pajamas, just because that's how I roll. And we went to my family's house for Christmas morning, and then we moved to St. George the very next day. Well, a number of years later, again, I wanted to recreate that experience, only a much more lavishly. I wanted to spend more time in the parks. I wanted to stay at really nice hotels, eat at really nice restaurants, and really just enjoy the fact that we'd had this awesome marriage all these years. Our son had just been born a few months earlier, and again, our business had just barely started to take off, and so we finally had the money for this. And what we decided to do was to go ahead and book the trip, because it was the perfect timing. It was 6 years later, and so our anniversary fell on the same day of the week that we got married. Does that make sense? And so we were able to recreate it and do all these really cool things. And like on our anniversary itself, we got to wake up on this hotel room on the beach and eat breakfast on the beach and go for a horseback ride on the beach. Notice on the beach part. It was, oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. It was fantastic. And we had arranged for her parents, who were living in St. George at the time, to bring our kids down to California to meet my mom and my sister, who would then have them until Christmas morning, where we would be able to go and to my sister's house, unwrap presents, and be with our family. Well, my dad apparently had other ideas. My dad made it very, very clear that he thought that we should join everyone and the rest of the family on Christmas Eve. Well, for whatever reason, we felt very strongly impressed that we needed to continue on with our plans, which included just being the two of us on Christmas Eve for the first time in several years since our kids had been born. Well, we showed up on Christmas morning, and we looked around, and I said, hey, where's Dad? And they said, I don't know, we haven't seen him today. A couple of days go by, and I open up my email, and I have this nasty, horrible email accusing me of all these despicable things, of not caring about my family, about not this, about doing this, about not doing this. And I'm going, what in the world is going on? And he said, you need to listen to me. I'm your father. You need to do this. I'm telling you, you have to do this because I'm your father, and you need to listen to me. Now, how many of you would agree that the people that you follow, you're going to get results like those people. Does that make sense? And so, how important is it to be very careful whom you choose to follow? Extremely important, yes or yes?
Yes.
And I had to write him back and say, Dad, I love you, but I'm doing very, very well. My business has taken off. I cannot follow your advice anymore, because if I do, I will end up like you. And he wrote me back saying, then consider changing your last name. I no longer want you as a son. We came back in town a few days later, and I contacted my mentor at the time, and I said, I don't know what to do. This is the type of message that I've received, and he and I have had a strained relationship for a number of years anyways, and so should I just cut ties altogether? I mean, should I save myself a bunch of heartache? And he said, you could, but I don't recommend it. It's because there is what exists, what is called the law of indirect. What's it called?
The law of indirect.
Which means that if certain relationships are not in order in your life, the other relationships are also going to suffer. Does that make sense? And some of those important relationships include those with your parents. And so I said, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't get this. Like, my business is doing pretty well now, and I wanted, of course, to keep growing. But how do I avoid painful experiences like this? Like, I don't even trust him with my children. Like, I mean, he's done some, he has some interesting addictions that kind of make me not feel comfortable with him around my children. What do I do? And he said, if it was me, I would simply send him an email saying, I love you, I respect whatever decision you have and whatever decision you make, but I'm in this for the long haul, regardless of what you do. And I went, but he said, how did you want to continue to progress? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm going to have to forgive, aren't I? He said, uh-huh. And so that night I got home. I got on my laptop and I sent him an email. And I said, Dad, you and I have said some not very nice things to each other. If you no longer want to count yourself as my father, that's fine, or count me as a son, that's fine. But regardless of what you think of me, I'm always going to be your son. I'm in this for the long haul because I love you. And the email that I received back only had 2 sentences. Very powerful email, son. I'm sitting here in tears. And the very next day, I closed $100,000 worth of business. And I thought, oh my gosh. And the day after that, I closed another $50,000 in business. That week, I had my record-breaking week. I closed more business than I ever had before. It was just under $170,000 in 5 days. And I sent this text message to my mentor, and I said, I just closed all this business. I closed almost $170,000. And he goes, you sent that email, didn't you? I said, uh-huh. He said, well, what are you going to do from now on? I said, well, I've got a lot of relationships that are out of order, to be honest. There are a lot of people that don't like me. There are a lot of people that probably won't forgive me for some of the stupid things that I've done. In fact, you can go online right now, you can Google the name Eric Bailey, and you'll find a lot of people that don't like me. A lot. But he said, do whatever it takes, even if it means reaching out to them spiritually. And do whatever it takes to clean up this relationship. He said the mistake that a lot of people make, again, is they try to swim upstream when it comes to money. They try just going after the money and after the resources without realizing that they have to form a relationship with the people that currently are stewards over those money and resources. Does that make sense? Remember, money and resources come from other people. And in order to increase your financial situation, you must do all that it takes to improve your relationship.